Studio.
Hi, welcome back. My name is Josue Chaitis, and this is the latest episode of Common Sense AI. So, as you're looking at our screen right here, remember last episode, we introduced the CO framework, which stands for context, instruction, in scope, and out of scope. What is this? This is how you want to talk to your AI just to make it better and easier and produce more high quality outputs. If you're just asking the AI general questions or not really guiding it, it's not really going to give you the best outputs. Now, this is something that's applicable at the personal level with anything that you're doing, right? It's also applicable at a small business level because then what it does is it allows you to give it clear instruction and control the outputs that come out, right? Now, the extension of this at more of an enterprise level would be for a large business, which understanding how frameworks and training people into use frameworks and to use certain prompting techniques, they result in better quality outputs, but also how can you add that control automatically built in? So one way to do that is just providing training. This is what you can be considered. So in order to start off, right, all my project managers that work at top tier project services, I introduce them to the concept of AI. One of the biggest things I introduce them to is how to use the CO framework and why to use it. So that was covered in last episode. So now I'm just kind of rehashing it. Now, CO, what it does is it provides clarity, it ensures alignment, it produces more quality control, right? And it ensures ethical compliance and structural repeatability. Now, as far as a breakdown, first we start with the context, right? Hey, what is happening and why does this matter, right? You want to help the AI to understand what is the situation or the environment I'm operating in, right? And I'll give you some examples. Now, instruction. What is the assistant supposed to do, right? So when you create AI, it's not Google. You don't ask it questions, right? You create an assistant that has a specific function that functions as an agent for you, right? And as an agent for you, it does everything you need it to do in a specific realm, right? Almost like you're creating your own perfect contractor, right? In scope, what am I allowed to do? This could be examples of something like this. And for example, I want you to do something like this, or however you want to say it, but really it helps to align the AI so it understands like, all right, so he wants something like A or like a pony or like a car, right? That's an example of something that this person wants. Out of scope, what does that mean, right? Like, hey, that's like what I don't want you to do. It lets you know what's in scope, what's out of scope. So now, that's a quick review on the CO framework. What this video is specifically going to talk about is how you can generate your own assistance on your own, right? So what I've noticed in this space, there's also people that are talking about use my tool, use this app, buy my software for X 99.99, right? And you can play like the big boys, right? So what we do at Top Tier Project Services is we say F that noise, man. What we're gonna do is just show you how to actually use AI. Because at the end of the day, the tools that we'll be using with AI, they haven't really been developed. What you need to focus on is the concepts of AI, how to use AI, how to apply AI, not paying X amount of dollars or hundreds or thousands of dollars for any sort of training or certification, anything like that. Mind you, most of the stuff is available for free, right? Now, here's what I'm going to show you. So first and foremost, right, as you can see, my chat's kind of set up because I created an account. The biggest things you need to do is have an account, right? Now, one thing that I noticed with some people is that they don't have an account. They just kind of ask the ChatGPT random stuff. And then they're also the same people complaining about like, well, this doesn't work, or it's got a horrible hallucination rate, or maybe you're a teacher reviewing someone else's paper and you're like, I could tell you did not write this, right? It's got perfect punctuation and everything, right? How do you avoid those situations? Is you got to train your AIs better. You have to learn how to use prompting, right? That's AKA the CO framework. How does it look like in action? What if when I want to do event management? What if when I want to do any sort of project management? What if I want to have something that helps me with my writer's block? What if I want to learn how to do a static website in Amazon Web Services S3, right? Which is something that we've used it for in my company. And that's how we host our websites for our music label, for example. Shout out to Elevate Studios. Y'all already know, like and subscribe, right? So now first thing you want to do is you go into a new chat, right? So as it goes into a new chat, remember we're going to use the CO framework, right? So I will say you are a professional prompt engineer that supports me and my business in creating agents and AI to execute and support core business processes and the attainment of personal goals, right? So now, as you can see, lots of little typos. It doesn't really matter, but for the purpose of this video, I'll make it clean because somebody's gonna hit me up and be like, "Hey, you spelled that word the wrong way, right? That's personal, not personal, right?" I know you guys are out there, right? So I'll go ahead and edit it for you so that way you don't feel bad, right? So that is the context. Next, what are we gonna tell it? Right, it's the instruction, right? So I want you to create prompts based on instructions given by myself. These prompts need to align with the TTPS prompt architecture structure, as well as the 80 readability score or higher flesh scale, right? Now, when it comes to the TTPS prompt structure, right, that's something that I created on my own. You actually don't need to tell it this. I just kind of tell it that because that's kind of how I tend to build my AIs. Now, I have the pro version, but you should be able to do the free version. So the next thing that I'm going to do is go right into my cloud drive, right? And then from there, I go into my company products. I have my stuff set up. I have an AI hub set up, right? And what I have right here is the company prompt stack template, right? Leave a like in the comments or let us know in the comments if you want the prompt stack template so you can use it for yourself. Or better yet, I'll show you how you can make your own templates in the following videos, right? So I added that. That's because I have learning prompts, control prompts in there. But that's in scope. Next, we're going to move into in scope and out of scope, right? So an example of something I want you to produce is a prompt that creates a writing assistant that conforms to my writing style and suggests improvements based on my desired intent and tone, right? That's an example of something I do want you to do, right? Something that I want to be done. What is an example of something I don't want you to do? I don't want you to create prompts that fail to follow the TTPS prompt stack and do not confirm with the user prior to execution. We need to reduce hallucination rates overall, right? So now, what did I write? CO framework, right? Context, you're a professional prompt engineer that supports me in my business in creating agents and AIs to execute and support core business processes and the attainment of personal goals. I want you to create prompts based on instruction given by myself. These prompts need to align with TTPS prompt architecture structure, as well as be 80 readability score or higher on the flesh scale. Now, you don't have to include that stuff. That's just some of the TTPs that I've developed in top tier project services. TTP stands for Type and Techniques and Procedures. Now you know I was in the Army for a couple of years, right? Now, as far as we're doing this, right? Flesh scale, what that is just makes it readability. It's a good way to understand it if my emails are even clear enough, right? So I add that to all my prompts. An example in scope, something I want is produce a prompt that creates a writing assistant that conforms to my writing style and suggests improvements based on my desired intent and tone. I don't want you to create prompts that fail to follow TTPS prompt architecture and do not confirm with the user prior to execution. We need to reduce hallucination rates overall, right? So now that's the prompt and aligned in the CO framework. And I also added the TTPS company prompt stack template. I recommend you develop your own prompt stacks, right? And that'll kind of help out. And if you want our stack template, just like and follow, right? Subscribe, hit us up in the comments. And I'd see what it produces, right? So now, based on my instruction, it's going to go ahead and now understand. So what this AI understands, remember, this is a new chat. So I haven't really trained this AI. In the other AI that I had, it had my CEO framework already ready to go. That's because I actually trained them, right? Now, what happens here? It pops up the CEO framework, right? Why? It's because I have it aligned. So what do I need to do, right? All I do is I take all of these stacks, right? So let's look at them individually, right? It gives us the context, instruction. Remember, if you use a CO framework and you have it talk back to you in the CO framework, it reinforces what? The CO framework. Yeah. Now, that's how it goes, right? I gave it that control to embed that TTPS control prompt stacks. I have control prompts, right? In AWS AI and ServiceNow AI agent building, right? You'll have different controls that make sure that certain things don't happen, whether it's hallucination, it's that feedback request, different stuff like that, right? There's controls there, but in ChatGPT there isn't. So what do? Create a controls prompt stack, nice and easy, right? I also have learning prompts that are kind of there, right? And activation complete. Now, what I end up doing is I just kind of copy it from here, right? So I first enter a new chat, tell it what I need to do using CO framework. Then I enter a new chat again. And now I'm going to copy paste that in there, right? And now I have my prompt engineer, right? So now this is my Q chat for prompt engineering, right? What it does is I already had my own AI that was built and I built it up over time. It's learned the way I talk. It created all my prompts. But what you have right here, it names it the TTPS cone and clarity, but what you want to rename it is my person right? My personal prompt assistant AI. So what you need to do is from now on, you need to use this AI, right? So you have a professional prompt engineer that you just created using the CO framework. So now what you want to do is you'll talk to it, you'll tell it what kind of assistance you want to create. Just like I created the prompt assistant, right? To create this prompt. Now I have my assistant live. What you need to do is tell it what other kind of assistant, what other kind of agent you need at this time, right? Whether it's a writing agent, right? Maybe it's a meeting minutes summarizer agent, right? Maybe it's something that promotes clarity and tone in your emails, right? By the way, quick great TTP, great tip, right? You ever find people aren't reading your emails or they're confused about it, right? What you want to do is take your email, create a writing assistant for clarity, post it in there until I rewrite this 80 readability score or higher flesh scale, right? What that does, it produces an email that, quite frankly, an eighth grader can read. So if you're at work and people are just like, I didn't understand your email, and you'd be like, did you even read it? And the answer is no, because an eighth grader would understand it. Let me show you how. That scale, right? That's it. That's how we're going to bring everyone into the future. So this is another tidbit for you guys, right? I call it common sense AI. In our following stories and the following videos, we'll show you guys how to action that a little bit differently and create your own control and learning prompts. So that way you go. So hopefully what you got out of this is, hey, brief cache on what is the CO framework, right? Context, instruction, in scope, and out of scope. How do I use the CO framework to create an agent, i.e. a prompt assistant? And now you are prepared to create additional agents. One other note that I want you guys to have is do not create separate chats for everything. If you find yourself doing something over and over again, rewrite this for LinkedIn, re-summarize this email, produce a meeting minutes report. Instead of having separate chats, just create one chat only, right? And just teach from that chat. It's nice and easy. It'll flow sequentially and you'll get it done. Anyways, guys, I hope you guys like this video. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe, all the Instagram, YouTube. Shout out to Elevate Studios for the banging TTPS intro. Let's hear your best bar tune if you can get on it. All right. I'll catch you guys around. You guys have a good one. Later.